Hello, people of the internet. I just want to make a video today. That's it's kind of maybe gonna be just of a ramble. But it's kind of gonna be more of a response to messages that people have been sending me, just reaching out to me, and be kind of an overall support, I guess. Because I feel like a lot of people that are diagnosed with psychogenic non-epileptic seizures feel very alone, very misunderstood. I mean, they probably, I know for a fact, don't understand themselves what's going on. For probably the first year it was going on, had absolutely no understanding of what it was. I didn't feel like it was valid. I didn't feel like it was a valid condition unless there was something medical going, like real. And so I was constantly looking for a real explanation. I spent my time on the internet looking at all this research. I got deep into the internet. It got bad. It got really bad. Like, people self-diagnose themselves. I started requesting doctors to give me like all these unnecessary tests, and they just kind of looked at me like, "No, you're ridiculous," and it made me sound like more insane than they already thought I was. So my point to this is that if this is something that you're doing, you're not the only one that's doing this. I feel like a lot of people probably do this and try to find some sort of validity to their seizures because so many doctors or professionals trying to tell them that it's not a valid condition because it's not epilepsy. There's no actual brain activity that's screwing up. But again, it's not because you can't see this happen on an EEG or an MRI or whatever. It doesn't mean it's not real. I always try to compare it to, headaches or migraines. You can't see those on a test, but they're real. What I always get confused about is that before my seizures started, I had chronic headaches for 2 or 3 years before they started. It's now been 5 years of chronic headaches, like daily chronic headaches. And I was always taken seriously. I saw doctors and neurologists, and all I had to say was, "I have headaches, I'm suffering," and I was taken seriously. I was given medication. There was no question, which is kind of ridiculous in my mind because there's no physical, there's nothing they can see. They can't even, I just thought it was ridiculous. But then you start having seizures, which are actual physical demonstrations of it, and nothing. So there's that. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so, what, your seizures are valid. They're real. It's not, that you're not faking it. I started thinking that I was faking it. I, started convincing myself that I was faking it somehow, and that I was, subconsciously actually doing it to myself, and that I truly, truly was insane, and actually seeking attention, and that I started coming up with these theories that, that my seizures were a subconscious need for attention and a subconscious need for being in the hospital or something like it got weird. I went to a dark place pretty quickly. But you don't have to do that to yourself because it's valid, plain and simple. Another thing is that a lot more people than you think have this condition. You're not the only one. If you need any types of support that you don't know about, there are a few Facebook groups. I'll post some links, and it's been really helpful. I found to talk to other people that have the same condition. So yeah. And also, another thing that I was going to say is if people ask you about your seizures, you don't need to go into the full explanation of, oh, I know it's not epilepsy, it's this weird thing, they're not actually epileptic, it's psychogenic, which means that it's kind of like, it's actually kind of more of a mental thing, because people aren't going to get it, and you don't have to do that. Honestly, I just tell people I have epilepsy. It's way easier, and like what's the difference? Either way, a seizure is a seizure, and one thing that I do say is that my seizures are, like, because people will ask me, so they'll be like, well, if you have a seizure, do I call 911? And, I say no. And even if it goes on because some people know that with epilepsy, if it goes on for longer than 5 minutes, you have to call 911 because it has to be medically stopped, because otherwise you go into status epilepticus, which basically means that your brain starts frying, which obviously if your seizure is not epileptic, that's not happening. So what I tell people, if they know that and they ask me that, is that my seizures are that I have a different form of seizures, and that's just not necessary, and I usually don't go into it more. So yeah, that was just kind of my overall point that I wanted to do, because I've been getting a few more messages these days asking me about those types of things. And also just because we're going into winter, and winter's depressing. And also because it's just, I don't know, felt like it needed to happen. So yeah, basic points of this video is you're not alone. Your condition is valid. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. If you need to reach out to me, feel free. I'll post some links to some people, to like Facebook groups. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So,